this term life cycle analysis, because if I am maybe the board member on a manufacturing firm, we'll call it company X, and yep. we know that our product is important. Maybe we manufacture something for hospitals or for life sciences industry, or in the in the train of medicine production, and I cannot afford starting to change my operation quicker to intercept those potentially hazardous exhaust vapors that I may be throwing into the atmosphere. Right. What alternatives can I do, and how technologies such as pyrolysis and biochar may be a vehicle for us to consider and start moving in the right trajectory?
It's a really great question, because it's based in actual real situation, reality, what we're facing right now, or corporate entities or producers are facing today. And one thing I would say, the first thing to consider would be to actually try to go through what you had mentioned, life cycle analysis of their action. And there's scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 levels of life cycle analysis, and I won't go into those details, because I think it gets a little bit too technical for this particular forum. But what it really means is establishing a baseline of what the footprint and what the effect of that company's actions, whether it be service, whether it be computers, energy used in computers, whether it be a product or delivery of raw material for that product, or then indeed, how that product is delivered to the customer. What is the overall carbon impact through that action? So that would be the life cycle analysis. And out of that life cycle analysis, a company would get some kind of a ton of CO2 emitted per product or per year or per the whole corporation. They can actually take immediate steps to purchase and get involved in carbon negative purchases, right? So these are credit purchases that would allow them to pay for some of their carbon footprint. In other words, get ahead of that curve, not necessarily yet changing how they conduct business or how they behave, but at least acknowledge and then purchase some of the carbon offsets. So let's say, for an example, company might have 10,000 tons of CO2 carbon footprint per year. They can move ahead and actually purchase 10,000 credits that would make them carbon neutral. And while they do that, because there is a cost associated with that and actual acknowledgement of carbon footprint, they can then now start looking at the components of their LCA and how to lower their overall action and carbon footprint as they're going through that process. Would actually, in effect, conduct drawdown of the CO2 that's in the atmosphere and put it in the ground, right? So in effect, we're like sucking the CO2 out of the atmosphere and laying it to rest in the ground.
I don't want to steal your favorite phrase, but I think it's appropriate to mention it. It's mining carbon from the air, right?
Exactly.